As you'll know, the campaign's stated aim is eventual reinstatement of the main line between Edinburgh, Midlothian, the Borders and Carlisle. Now we know that that's an ambition that will take time, and I believe the next phase of our campaign should be onwards to Hawick.
Simon Walton talking about his campaign to get trains running again through Hawick. There was a good turnout for the event, with Simon keen to put over the main points of the campaign's argument. He believes that Hawick was the worst hit of all towns in the Borders when the Waverley line closed, and he told us why.
Well, it was left more isolated than almost any other town in the UK, further away from the railway network, and that break in communication and the economic decline that followed meant that Hawick has suffered decades of economic deprivation.
The powers that be have already considered Hawick and passed on the chance to bring the station back. So why does Simon think they'd change their mind?
I don't think that any of these studies can go far enough into the collateral benefit that the railway can bring to Hawick. The additional interest, and even the fact that that little black dot on that little red line puts Hawick literally back on the map. These are all things which can't be part of an economic survey, but are definitely collateral benefits.
As well as talking about Hawick, the panel of guest speakers addressed many points about the Borders Railway. Bruce Simpson from Scottish Borders Chamber of Commerce took the opportunity to slam one media outlet for their narrow-minded point of view.
This is the article, the Borders Railway, a £300 million ticket to nowhere. This article, which I'll leave here, that has been in my room for too long, was scathing, unfair, in my opinion, inaccurate. The article was critical of the financial viability of the project and insinuated that it was a waste of money. I would have thought that the Sunday Herald would have been a bit more open-minded on the subject. Apart from the capital cost of the project, it was looking purely at the one revenue stream. It's the general transportation of passengers between Tweedbank and Edinburgh. Nowhere in this article did it mention tourism. In fact, the only person to mention tourism in the whole two-page spread was our own Sam Smith from the council. More visitors means an increase in income generation leading to more stable and perhaps more actual jobs. I have no doubt that the line will be a success, and if properly marketed with the right people looking at its tourism potential, it could generate a new upsurge of interest in the Borders.
Vice Chair of the campaign for Borders Rail, Tom Curry, talked about the practicalities of extending the line beyond Tweedbank to Hawick via Melrose and St Boswells.
With some tweaks to the road network, we think it's quite easy to actually get a single track railway through from Tweedbank through Melrose and then south of the roundabout. We may have to get the A68 will probably have to move, to my mind, and turn to the east as it comes down the hill towards the roundabout to cross the railway formation about 150 yards south of where it does at the moment. That gains enough height and clearance above the railway to get the railway back in, and then the road would swing back round and join back with the roundabout. St Boswells is an interesting proposition. If you look at the options that have been discussed for it, we're looking, you either have a completely new formation, which is admittedly a very high cost, or you put the railway back where it was. And really we think that the most cost effective way might be to put it straight back through the middle of town with some of the businesses moving to accommodate that.
Alistair Redpath, co-founder of Project Hawick, had this to say on behalf of the young people of the town.
A lot of people feel that they need to go to Hereward University, Borders College, they need to be looking out with Hawick for education. But I firmly believe that bringing the railway back to Hawick will present a lot of people in the town with some good opportunities that can hopefully attract the younger population to stay here as well.
Of course, extending to Carlisle would be very expensive, and it's unlikely we're going to see that happen anytime soon. How well the Edinburgh to Tweedbank line performs will be a major factor before considering any change. But would the campaign for Borders Rail settle for an extension to Hawick only?
I think we'd settle for Hawick as the next phase. We've always said that our ultimate aim is to see the line reinstated all the way to Carlisle, because it's not just about the section between Hawick and Carlisle, it's about reconnecting to the whole railway network, and that means that Hawick becomes accessible to everywhere in the UK. Every rail reinstatement that we've seen has far exceeded the expectations on patronage. And there's no reason why the Borders Railway to Tweed Bank won't be the same. So why wouldn't it be the same to Hawick as well? It won't take much of a modal shift, if you like, in transport requirements for the trains to be full.
The original cutting here is very deep, but it's had some stability issues in the past. So what we've been doing is using stone and rock blankets to stabilise the cutting. But the bigger thing we've dealt with here has been actually the level of water here. It's one of the highest parts of the job, but it's also one of the wettest. A lot of the agricultural land filters down into the track here. So underground here we've put a brand new drainage system which allows this area to be dry. I mean, last year there was as much as 2 feet of water line on top of some of this ground here. There are different challenges at each part of the work, and it very much depends on the existing condition of the track and the earthworks around it. So up and down the A7 you would see similar work like this, where we dig into the embankment and we use engineering rock and earthworks design to stabilise it, because the new standards that the Network Rail require for a railway are much higher than you would have expected in a Victorian era.